You learn one brand new word, suddenly it feels like it's absolutely everywhere. Is that a coincidence or is something stranger happening inside your mind? This happens to almost everyone, and scientists actually have a name for it. It's called the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, and it may be hijacking your brain right now. In 1994, a man read one obscure forum post about a German group. The group was called Baader-Meinhof. He had never once heard that name before. The very next day, he heard Baader-Meinhof again in a completely unrelated conversation. He posted online, baffled. Was this coincidence or something else entirely? Thousands of people replied. They had all felt the exact same strange thing. A linguist named Arnold Zwicky studied this pattern of sudden recognition closely. He gave it an official name, the frequency illusion. The pattern is simple. You learn something new, then suddenly notice it everywhere. It happens with words, cars, songs, symptoms, even people's names. Buy a red car, and suddenly the road seems full of red cars. Learn a rare disease's name, and suddenly you worry that you might have it. So what is actually going on inside your head when this happens? Your brain receives about 11 million bits of information every single second. You can only consciously process about 40 to 50 bits of that. So your brain has to throw almost everything away instantly and silent. It uses a filter in your brainstem called the reticular activating system. This filter decides what's important enough to reach your conscious mind. Before you learned the new word, your filter simply ignored it completely. It had no reason to flag something you didn't even recognize yet. The moment you learn it, everything about that filter changes instantly. Your brain tags that word as relevant, worth noticing from now on. It wasn't appearing more often before. You simply weren't seeing it. This is called selective attention, noticing only what your brain marks important. Think of walking into a party full of overlapping conversations at once. You can hear most of them until someone says your own name. Suddenly, that one voice cuts through all the noise instantly and clearly. That's the same filter at work, known as the cocktail party effect. Your brain didn't get quieter, your attention simply snapped to relevant. The frequency illusion works the exact same way, just spread over days. There's a second ingredient making this feel even stronger: confirmation bias. Once you expect to see something, your brain starts hunting for matches. Every match feels like proof. Every miss gets quietly, silently ignored. You remember the 10 times you spotted that one bright red car. You don't remember the 50 times you drove past and noticed nothing. Selective attention finds it. Confirmation bias makes it feel deeply meaningful. Together, they create the illusion that the world itself has changed. But the world never changed at all. Only your filter quietly did. Here's the twist. Nothing around you increased in frequency. Not even slightly. The red cars were always there at the exact same steady rate. The rare disease's name appeared in the news just as often before. Your environment stayed completely constant the entire time, start to finish. The only thing that changed was what your brain decided to flag. Your mind isn't a camera recording the world exactly as it is. It's an editor, cutting nearly everything and keeping only the relevant clips. That means your sense of reality is built from a tiny sample, a sample your own brain silently, invisibly chose for you alone. This isn't a flaw, it's how brains survive constant information overload. Without this filter, every sound and sight would overwhelm you instantly. But the filter carries a hidden cost. It can fool you completely. It can make coincidences feel like patterns, and patterns feel like fate. Some people mistake the frequency illusion for a sign or synchronicity. It isn't a sign, it's just your attention finally catching up. Think about pregnancy. Expecting parents suddenly notice strollers absolutely everywhere in public. The strollers didn't multiply overnight. Their attention simply locked onto them. Think about buying a new phone model you'd never even noticed before. Within a week, it feels like everyone owns that exact same phone. Think about learning a brand new fact like this one. Right now, you might start noticing frequency illusion mentioned in random places soon. That noticing itself is proof this phenomenon works, even while you watch it. Job seekers often report the same eerie pattern during a difficult search. The moment they need a job, Openings suddenly seemed to appear everywhere. The openings were always being posted, their attention simply sharpened toward them. Dieters noticed the same thing happening with food advertisements and menus. Suddenly, every billboard, every commercial seems to be selling exactly what they're avoiding. Social media algorithms can quietly amplify this illusion even further than before. Once you engage with one topic, the feed starts serving you more. Now the filter in your head and the filter in your feed align. Real attention and algorithmic amplification blur together until they feel identical. This same filter shapes bigger things too, not just harmless trivia. It shapes what news feels urgent and what worries feel truly constant. If you focus on bad news, your brain starts finding more of it. Not because the world got worse, but because your filter simply shifted. The reverse is also true. Focus on progress, and you'll spot more of that too. Your attention isn't just observing your world, it's quietly helping build it. What you repeatedly notice slowly becomes what your entire reality feels like. That's a strange amount of power to hand to an unconscious filter. Scientists call our brain's love of patterns a form of apophenia. It's the same instinct that once helped our ancestors spot real danger. A rustle in the grass was either wind or it was a predator. Brains that assumed danger and were wrong survive better than careless ones. So evolution built us to see patterns first and question them later. The frequency illusion is simply that ancient instinct misfiring in modern life. It's not broken, it's just aimed at word choices instead of predators. Understanding the mechanism doesn't stop it from happening in real time. Even knowing about this effect, you'll likely still fall for it again. That's not a personal failure. It's simply how human attention works. The goal isn't to outsmart your brain, but to question it gently. When something feels like it's suddenly following you, pause for a moment. Ask a better question. What did I recently start paying attention to? 9 times out of 10, that question quietly answers the entire mystery. Your brain isn't showing you everything. It honestly never really was. It's showing you a curated highlight reel, chosen without ever asking permission. Understanding that doesn't make the illusion disappear completely, and that's alright, but it does make it a little less mysterious, a little less strange. You're not being followed by a word, a car, or a coincidence. You're just finally noticing what was quietly there all along, unseen. Once you know this pattern exists, you'll start noticing it in daily life. A new hobby, a new worry, a new song stuck in your head. Each one will suddenly seem to appear again and again everywhere you look. Let that feeling become a small, private reminder instead of a mystery. Is your brain quietly telling you what it has decided matters right now? Use that information. It's a surprisingly honest map of your own priorities. If you keep noticing anxiety, ask what your mind is trying to protect. If you keep noticing opportunity, ask what your mind is quietly chasing. The frequency illusion isn't lying to you, it's revealing you to yourself. That's a strange kind of gift hidden inside an ordinary mental glitch. Scientists are still studying exactly how strong this filtering effect can become, but the core finding has held steady since Ricky first named it. Attention shapes reality far more than most people ever stop to realize. Not the world around you, but the version of it you actually perceive. That distinction matters more than it might seem at first glance. So the next time something feels like it's suddenly following you everywhere, pause before assuming the world itself has somehow changed around you. Ask yourself instead, what have I recently started paying attention to? So, tell me honestly, what have you been noticing more of lately? Whatever it is, now you know exactly why it keeps showing up.